Mr. Nas Appiah is a public affairs analyst in Makurdi, Benue State, in the Middle Belt region. He's not absolving the northern political elites of the quit notice issued to Igbos living in the region.
The unity of this country is on paper as we speak. It cannot be sustained because of grave injustices that every section of this country seems to be agitating, that look, we are being marginalized, we are being victimized, we are being subjected to second-class treatment because we are either minorities or we are from a tribe that is not recognized. So the unity of this country as it stands now has never been more threatened than it is today. We got to where we are today because instead of running a federal system, where power will be divulged to the component units, which in this case is the states, we converge at Abuja and decided that power should be centered within Abuja. And so Abuja earns all the monies and then calls Commissioner of Finance across the 36 states and Abuja and shares these monies to them. Abuja takes care of everything. The states cannot even construct roads linking to Ebonyi. For instance, Benue cannot construct a road in a Gumale that connects Ebonyi because it will be said to be a federal road. Now, we need to come back to a federal system if we want this country to be bounded together, where power is divulged to either the states or the regions. And even the creation of the regions does not address the ethnic imbalance, the agitations of minorities and certain groups that have been marginalized in the larger Nigerian picture. So we are here today because there is no devolution of power. Hence the call for the restructuring of this country. And I am fully in support of the restructuring of this country. That let's devolve power down to the component units and states, and let the states and component units contribute to defense, external affairs, and one or two other things. But let every region or component or state develop based on the resources it is able to generate. This is what is generating tension in this country.
His views are re-echoed by his counterpart in Osun State.
We need to be worried as a people. But again, we should know that what we're experiencing in our nation today is a reflection of the many years of neglect and expectations that were not met, and of course there's this feeling of marginalization, and the expectation is really so high, and for a country that is going through hard times like ours, is not peculiar to Nigeria. Most great nations of the world, have passed through this time. It's all about how we're able to handle some of this, all of these issues, and of course the need for us to know that as a people, there is strength in our unity. We need to look at, the benefit of one Nigeria, and of course it is high time that we sit up, as a people and face reality and see that we restructure Nigeria in a way that would give everybody that peaceful coexistence that is not negotiable. We need to look at the fact that we are not just coexisting as a people, but over the years there are some we are failed as a people to put some to put the right system in place, such that it doesn't matter which ethnic background you are coming from. It doesn't matter whether you are from the north or the south or from the south. That the system gives everybody equal rights and opportunity. There's feeling of neglect, across the country. There's feeling of marginalization, and of course, more than ever before, it is unfortunate that people are beginning to drum ethnicity and religious belief more than the unity of Nigeria as a whole, and of course this will not help us. Our constitution makes so clear that Nigeria is an indissoluble and an indissoluble sovereign state. But having said that, don't also forget that Nigeria also signed to a number of treaties like the African Charter and all of that, which we have domesticated, and of course it gives it's you know that is one aspect of the law that those who are clamoring for breaking away from Nigeria and all of that are holding on to. There's freedom of expression, there's freedom of association, and the whole of that. But we must not forget that the unity of Nigeria is sacrosanct, and of course, how you go about how we go about our demands is also very critical.
Mr. Appiah calls for equal opportunities in federal government appointments, as he claims it is currently lopsided.
If we have cement in Igumale, if we have cement in Yande, in Benue State, we should be allowed to give Dangote a license. And he should be paying us license renewal fees every year. He should be paying all the taxes for what he is mining and producing, back packaging and selling to Benue State and not to the federal government. That is the first step towards resource control. The issue is beyond resource control. It is beyond allowing the people to develop at their own pace, to move based on what they have and then be able to articulate their position and say, this is what our capacity is, this is what we have on ground, and we are able to take this and use it to develop our area. So we need to have a roundtable discussion. We cannot continue like this. It is not just about resource control. It comes in with the quota system, where you have somebody in Zamfara or Sokoto scoring 100 in JAM. He will be given preferential admission into a university. Then you come to Benue, where the major industry as we speak is education. And then you have people scoring 300, 200. But they will tell you that we have exceeded our quota system. And therefore, even though our students have exceeded the cut-off mark, they cannot be admitted into universities. A country that is encouraging mediocrity based on quota and not intellect competence is headed for a doom, because the next frontier of industrialization, of development, of growth is education.
Others maintain that the calls for restructuring of the country is in the right direction and shouldn't be opposed.
In the life of a country is the dynamism of the people and the circumstances that continue to shape the future of that nation. No country, like an individual, is constant or static. There must be changes that will be thrown up as events come up for the country to keep readjusting itself, so long as it keeps carrying people along. So I do not see anything wrong with people agitating for a change. It's a constant thing. It happens everywhere in the world. But that change must be tailored towards the law, not outside the law.
Northern communities and southern communities, especially from the Igbo race, had wives and children from the north, Kori, Hausa, Fulani, same with those from the Hausa, Fulanis. Most of the Igbos in the southeast and most of the Hausas in the southeast and Igbos in the northeast or north central or northwest don't know their homes again. They are part of there. They don't know if they are from Igbo or not. They are all born and bred there. So the division is difficult now, so difficult. In fact, it's not possible.
The acting president arrives for the 5th consultative meeting on the expressions of discontent by northern and southeastern youths in Nigeria. Professor Yemi Osinbajo appeals to the governors to speak out forcefully against it or risk a degeneration of the situation.
We must resist the temptation to play politics, especially with matters of security, or to reach for simple or simplistic narratives that might be momentarily expedient and satisfying, but are false, misleading, and sometimes unhelpful to a proper understanding of the issues.
The federal government warns the various groups to desist from fanning the embers of violence or face the full wrath of the law.